should know that because this is my channel. Hello to everyone on Instagram and hello to everyone on YouTube and LinkedIn. It is great to see you and I'm looking forward to having a conversation. If you've got any comments, just put them in the chat. I can see them both on both different screens. So if you've got any comments, just put them in the chat. And if you've got any questions, put them in the chat. That's pretty quite important because I'm here to have a little rant about something, but I'd much rather help you with any questions you might have specifically on AI, whether it's kind of strategic and existential stuff or whether it's more tactical stuff. Either way, put the questions in the chat and let's get to it. Right. Here's what I'm going to talk about until you guys start like hammering away at stuff. What I want to talk about is a few months ago, I was speaking to an entrepreneur and they've been in our spaces and they've been in our mastermind and they've come to some of our events and it was super cool. And they said the sentence, "We want your help." I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like that. And we want to get you on a retainer. Like, awesome. I like that. And it wasn't like huge money. It wasn't small money. It was decent, respectable money. It would have certainly helped cash flow. It would have certainly helped finances. And then he said this. He said, what we need your help with is cutting our staff from X amount to Y amount over the next 6 months. I'm like, okay. I'm like, right. And what's the goals and what's the objectives and how are we growing the revenue and how are we growing the cash flow? He's like, no, yeah, I don't care about that. I just don't want to hire humans anymore. I want to hire machines. I want automations and AI. I fully believe in everything you're saying. We want you to go out there and hire us like an AI agent army to do the work. Okay. And you've been listening to everything I've been saying. So yeah, I'm like, I don't think you've been listening that carefully. He's like, sorry? I'm like, I don't want that future. That's not my goal. My goal isn't to replace humans with AI. You said, yeah, but you said you think that's inevitable. And I'm like, yeah, I do think it's inevitable, but I'm not going to be happy about it. He's like, I don't understand. I'm like, well, it's kind of unarguable now that what we're going to see is this first wave of AI is going to be about augmenting human capability with AI, right? So we take our humans, we remove some of the low value work, and then our really cool humans can do higher value work, okay, which is cool. And then the second wave of it is all around how we help them in their thought process and how we help them brainstorm and ideate and come up with different strategies. So they're kind of co-creating with AI. That's number two. That's super cool. Looking forward to that. But it does become inevitable that the technology gets to a degree where you don't need the human to do the work anymore. So let's take an example. We're hiring salespeople at the moment, and in sales you've got setters and closers. So a setter sets the appointment, and the closer closes the appointment. I don't think AI is going to get anywhere near the closer role for at least a few years, probably say 2-3 years. But the setter role, we've already rolled out voice agents that are performing as well as the humans, right? So you call this and it's fully AI, it's a voice agent, and it goes through the process that a setter would normally go through. And when I say about as efficient, I'm talking about 25% ratio. So it's 25% of all calls that come in end up with a closer, right? Which is cool. But the difference between me and this guy is I don't want that future. I will accept that future because as a business owner, it's my job to drive maximum value for my stakeholders, for my shareholders, for my team, for my staff, for myself. That's what my job is. My job is to make as much money as possible without sacrificing the quality of our product. That's the job of a business. And if you don't like that, I apologize on behalf of capitalism because that's my job. My job is to make money whilst offering a great product or service that adds value to people. So at some point, I have to accept that that means I have to replace some human roles with AI roles. But I don't have to be happy about it whilst I do it. Now, what he then said was the bit that sat with me literally for weeks. He said, I just think that you and Liz are playing a small game. Playing a small game. I've never been accused of that in my life, by the way. Of all the things I've been accused of in my life, playing a small game, not on the list. I've also never been accused of being modest or softly spoken. So I was quite shocked. I'm like, me, I'm playing a small game. Okay, tell me what that means. And apparently it meant that instead of going after the big money, which is the disruption of the workforce and replacing humans with I was trying to help small time, his words, not mine, small time entrepreneurs achieve 5, 10, 20% margin increases. Okay, my first answer, sign me the fuck up. Sign me up to the future that I'm trying to create. I'm like, yeah, that is what I want to do. But I don't think I'm playing small, because what he's not seeing, and respect to him, he's a great guy, what he's not seeing is that he's the problem. He's the problem. If we all rush, as we've spoken about here in a couple of days, if we all rush to automate everything through and we replace all of our humans with AI, there isn't anyone to buy the stuff that we're all building. Right? This is the kind of the core of what we call the producer-consumer problem. We need people earning in order to buy the stuff that we're building. If we build stuff and there's nothing for them to buy, the whole thing kind of goes wrong. So we have to, whilst we're doing this work of automating out the humans, which whilst we do that work, whilst we automate out I don't even like saying it, it doesn't feel right in the mouth. So whilst we do the work of adding agents and AI into a business, that feels better, but essentially we're saying automate out the humans. We also have to do the work of upskilling people so that they can become self-actualized. Big fancy word to say that they can be producers and consumers at the same time, so that they can take what's in their heart, their soul, their passion, and they can make that work in the world. Right? So we have a majority of entrepreneurs who've got this great idea. I know how to make a better mug. So great, you know how to make a better mug? Awesome. The AI is going to help you on all the other stuff that you don't know how to do in order to help you get that dream and passion out into the world. So if you go too fast as a society, we end up in these huge problems. The underlying point that I really want to get to, and I'll learn to reverse out into these things a little bit on live so I get to my point a bit quicker, but it doesn't matter because if you've just joined, this is the beginning, so that's great. My underlying point is to thyself be true. Know what it is that you stand for in the world, because it doesn't matter. Nothing, none of it matters. What matters is your family and your friends and the time you get to spend with your relatives and your loved ones and your wife and your husband and your kids and your parents. There was, Jesse Iser said this once. He said that he used to think that his grandparents, that he had another 15 years with his mum. I've probably got another 15 years of my mum being alive. And then he said, but I see her twice a year. So that means I've only got 30 visits left. And that really sat with me. It's like, wow, that's different. That feels very, very different. I've got 15 years of my mum and this planet versus I'm going to see her 30 more times. That's not enough. So the time you spend working, I am fully aligned. And I really want everyone to be in this same kind of space with, you better love what you're doing and you better believe in what you're doing, because if it's taking you away from the things that are truly important in life, then it's got to be something that's also truly important. And earning money isn't important. It's an irrelevancy. Like we have all these kind of truisms about on their deathbed, do they? Do you lament the spreadsheet you didn't do? And all those kind of trite phrases to kind of explain this point of the thing that matters, the thing that counts, is how much time we spend with the people that we love and how much time we get to pursue our passions and our learning. So if we're going to spend time with other people and if we're going to spend time on our business, it better be something that really lights you up. And the one thing you'll never get from me is judgment of what that is. I've got people in my space who are quite happy to be on $50,000 a year. And I've got other people in my space that want to make $100 million a year. And I'm good with both, as long as that's your path. As long as you're going to get to your deathbed and go, I am proud of how I lived my life. That doesn't mean you're going to get everything right. That doesn't mean you're going to make everyone happy. That doesn't mean you're going to make every right decision. God knows we all make mistakes, myself included for sure. We're all going to get things wrong, but we can look back and go, that was what I tried to do. That was my plan. I might have screwed up my plan, but that was my plan. I showed up as the man or woman I wanted to be. That's what counts. So this is kind of a semi-cautionary tale because there's been decades before this version of me. I call this like the V4 version of me. There's been decades when I said yes, like $100,000, $150,000. Yeah, okay, because I could do it. I could do what he's asking me to do. And $100,000 is a nice big carrot. It's like, yeah, I can do that. This version of me says no. Because, this is kind of my ending point, and then I'm going to read through some of the comments that have come in, and thank you for the hearts and the love. Because when I was a kid, and I mean in my 20s, so sorry if that's somebody's here that's in their 20s, but when I was in my 20s, I used to fight the fights that were worth fighting. That's who I was. I fought the fights that were worth fighting. In my 30s and early 40s, I fought the fights that I could win. That was who I was in my 30s and my 40s. I fought the fights I could win. I didn't go for the stuff I couldn't win. Now, courtesy of my wife and my customers and my friends, I have the strength of resolve to fight the fights worth fighting again. And on this AI is going to roll you over fight, I think I'm going to lose. I think we're going to lose. I think we're going to lose this fight. I think that we're probably going to build another technocracy that looks like the last one, but on steroids. I think we're probably going to lose. And I don't fucking care. Because this is a fight worth fighting. This is a fight I'm willing to stand for. This is a hill I'm willing to die on. And this is a line I'm willing to defend come hell or high water. Because I've got 300 people in my community that trust me. I've got 10,000 people that listen to me. And I've got 2 little kids. And all of you and me need a future where humans have value and have meaning. We need a future where we still have meaning. So I'm going to keep fighting for that future. Right? And I'm going to keep trying to rally people around me to keep fighting for that future. But if they ask me honestly, do I think we're going to achieve it? I'm like, nah, probably not. There is too much money in this space from too many big people trying to achieve too many big things. And when you have mission statements such as remove the cost, the tax of human labor, remove the tax of human labor, then you're in trouble because you become what you celebrate. And OpenAI, Anthropic, I'm not picking on any one individual party here, as VC-backed plays are just trying to grow as large as they can, as quick as they can. That's their interest. And I don't blame them for that because that's what capitalism does. They're just trying to build the largest possible companies they can with as many users as they can, serving as many people as they can. The idea of ethics and humanity and defending the workforce and augmenting the workforce is contra to what they want to achieve. So we're probably going to lose this fight. But in this era of my life, I fight the fights worth fighting, and I'll wake up every day to keep fighting those fights. So my advice to you is if you can afford to do it, and you can, if you're being honest, say no. The no's that you give make your yeses way more valuable. So say no. If it isn't aligned, if it doesn't light you up, if it's not a hill you're willing to die on, say no. Thank you. I appreciate it. But no. And that's why I get so much joy and value from this. So thank you to Aaron, thank you to Erdy, thank you to Anastasia, good to see you again, I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you to Liz, Stanley, Denise. Got some comments on YouTube, I think. Like Parallel Worlds is actually based on self-interest, you're actually based on greater good, whilst accommodating the eventuality it may or may not occur. I like your world much better. So thank you, Stanley. I like my world better for having you in it. Denise, playing a different game. You're playing the infinite game. Yes, 100%. Live your values is the only way to be. See, that's it. I didn't need to do 14 minutes and 59 seconds, at least I could have just said, live your values. So whatever your values are, whatever your code is, whatever fires you up, live that. And for the people that come and offer you the nice big check to do something different, no thank you. And with that, happy October 17th. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I don't know when I'm going to do this tomorrow because I'll be flying. But yeah, this is day 7. Day 7 of the 100-day experiments. We've done 7 lives. I want to do 1 a day, so I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'll be on a plane, but I'm going to find a way. I don't know if I'm going to manage to do it on all the platforms, but I'm going to find a way. So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at some point, shiny and sunny in the day. And until then, have a great time. Thank you so much for dropping in. Thank you for being here with me.